What's going on, Internet? It's your boy JG from AuburnSports.com. I got my usual crew here for the Gpits show. Neal McCready from Oxford, Mississippi, and Lame DeArmond from Columbia, Missouri, the famed city in Missouri, which is located just south of Springfield, near Joplin and Kansas City.
Right.
And St. Charles.
just west of Des Moines.
So it's great to have both you gentlemen here on the live stream, and we didn't have Gabe last week because we had Major on talking about Cathead jumping on with us, which was rad. But we're glad to have Gabriel back. What up, Gabriel?
Nothing. Glad to be back. Glad to hear that. Anytime in the future you want to kick me off for someone who's willing to sponsor the show, go ahead, man.
Well,
that sounds like a good deal.
Let's be honest here. You also were playing golf. You sent us the thing that goes, hey, I'm going to go play golf, and I'm going to hit the links. And how did you play? How much did you drink? Tell us about the day.
I've played 4 times now, and stunningly, I am somehow not getting any better. I don't know if I'm getting worse, but I'm clearly not getting better. So, it was fine though. It was 4 hours
Did you play with
alone.
friends?
Yeah, I played with a friend. Actually, I think that time I met a friend of mine from home. We met like halfway between here and Kansas City and played, so it was good.
Wait a minute. Columbia to Kansas City, that's like different sides of the state, isn't it?
No, it's a 2-hour drive, so we each drove a little over an hour and played golf.
So if it's a 2-hour drive
Thank you,
and
Neal.
you each drive a little more than an hour, you pass each other, and you got
to go a little bit south too. So.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw like a geometry equation in here or anything.
So you each drove like 50 minutes one way and then 10 minutes.
Probably.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't time it exactly.
Yeah.
I'll do that next time.
We have some
I'll
folks
just
on.
give you guys my login to my tracking device so you can see where I'm at.
That'd be great. So that course was in Nevada. Is that what you're trying to say? You guys played over there in Carson City?
Yes, Nevada. I was wondering if you meant Nevada, the actual city in Missouri. We don't pronounce things very well here. So there is a town called Nevada.
Nevada. Spelled Nevada?
I mean, I don't think there's any other ways to spell it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, Georgia Rebel says, what up, fellas? Gabe, you covered up the pantry. I think people are going to be dismayed, Gabriel, that you've done this.
I mean, this is the second or third time. Eventually, we're going to get a whole generation of listeners who don't even remember the Spice Cabinet.
So I can read it. It says powermizzou.com, and then it says Mizzou, and then does it have like tiger stripes or something? What does that say?
Yeah, it's just it's stripes by the .com. That was, I don't know who made that logo. Somebody did. It wasn't me.
That's cool.
I'm gonna give credit to Jay. I'll say Jay did it.
Nobody loves Power Mizzou like I do, Gabriel.
I know. Yeah.
Mostly because that really hot chick I saw in the airport. She was hot, man. I still have her on my phone. I got to do a one-on-one Zoom with Gus Malzahn the other day.
How was that?
That was fun. I like talking to Gus. People in the bunker want to hate him, but he's all right by me.
One-on-one, huh?
Leif,
why do they want to hate him?
No, they're bored with his dumb ass. He tends to mess up games strategically, and he messes them up the same way, and they just get tired of it. And I understand the frustration. They don't get a chance to kind of hang out with him. But I like Gus. He's I say this, man. I never catch him in a lie. Like, he never lies to me about anything. Like, sometimes I'll ask him stuff, and he'll be like, I don't want to talk about that, which is fine. Just don't lie to me. And he never lies to me. So, I mean, that's all I can ask for, really. Yeah. I don't know if Eli Drinkwitz has lied to you yet.
Not to my knowledge. I've only talked to him like 4 times.
Corny Mofo says
Maybe
I need to run a comb through my hair. I don't care what you think about it, Corny. Corny's from Nevada. He is. Let's see. Everybody's talking about how they're sending you shit, Neal. Leif says, just dropped off something at UPS for Neal to unbox.
Yeah.
M from the East Coast says, Neal, you got some of my family's peanut coming your way tomorrow as well. Aunt Ruby was my grandmother. Enjoy.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Webb, let me ask you a question real quick, Webb, because the box just got here today and it says it needs to be refrigerated. Does that need to be refrigerated like right now, or can it sit here till Thursday?
Hey Neal, if you just want to Zoom with all these guys that are sending you stuff, like me and Jay can hop back on another time.
Yeah.
We do live shows on Thursday night. In the last 2 weeks, we've done unboxing. I got an Iowa helmet.
Awesome. So this is basically where you just say, "Hey, here's my address. Send me a gift." And I will open it on the air.
That's exactly what it is.
Damn.
I actually have publicly put my address out there, which is, I know, stupid, but you know what? So far, it's worked out okay.
I'm going to mail you like a live ferret.
No, there are two rules: no animals, and nothing, and no drugs. No animals, no drugs. That way, there's no laws broken.
Hey, does poison fall under drugs? Like, because I would say no poison. Like, don't send me anthrax, or is that a drug?
That's a drug. So
okay.
No poison either. I mean, unfortunately, yeah.
Leif is giving you some clues. It says it's from a distillery, but it ain't booze. And then Webb says until Thursday. I think that was the answer to your question.
Okay, good deal.
And Leif would like for you to put on the captain hat. I don't know if that's a thing. You were wearing something the other night on the show. I don't remember what it was. Was it like a?
Yeah. I was wearing. Well, I had an Arkansas. Let me see if I can find that captain hat. I don't know where Chance the Rapper put that.
Chance the Yapper, and Georgia Rebel.
Yapper, I'm sorry.
Georgia Rebel likes your shirt, Gabriel.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I bought it at Market Square Arena, I believe.
Like in Indianapolis?
In Indianapolis, yes.
Word, that's right by Joplin. I've been there.
Right, yeah. It's just like a 25-minute drive, I think.
Oh, man. I've had, seriously, though, every time my family would go on trips, we'd always go through Missouri, and we didn't ever get to see you. I mean, I didn't know you. And
I mean, you might have seen me. You might have driven right past my house.
No, I was on I-44. I-44, we're hitting like Joplin, Springfield, Brawla, Eureka, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, my dad grew up in Joplin.
Good people down there, man. They get their ass beat by tornadoes like every fifth year, but they're resilient, you know.
True. Yeah.
And
I can't find the captain's hat, but I can find my mask. I'm just it's a total dysfunction in here. Chance must have taken the captain's hat home. He was enchanted with it.
Like, was he really?
I
mean, it might have been his first time to ever be the captain.
Is the Rebel Grove crew not quarantining from each other then? You guys hanging out together?
We do the one show a week, and sometimes we'll do another show. We've done a lot of like interview type stuff, like, and then stuff like that.
Leif, who is not from Missouri, says Missouri is nothing but billboards for porn and Jesus. Or Jesus.
Far more of the first than the second, if you want the truth. Yeah, there are a lot of I'm trying to think what they're called. I don't know. There are a lot of establishments like arcades and video stores right off the highway.
Canoe Man is one of our guys, says, appreciate Gabe skipping his afternoon tea time to join us this week.
Tea time?
Yeah.
Oh, golf. I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking tea. Yeah. No, I might. Just let me know when you want to do the show next week. I might line up golf then.
Okay. We can do that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to do the show, or what do you want to do? You want to talk about films and shit?
Well, I hit my arm in the shower today, and now I think I got
bless your heart.
Wow, we got a super chat coming through from Webb M, one of the Rebel Grove Hall of Famers. It says, Gabe, just so you're not feeling all butthurt, here's some cash for you. Gabriel, I'll get that to you. Nothing but love for all you guys. Please make this a call-in show in the future. Bubba needs to banter with Jabe. I guess that's you and I together. Jay and Gabe.
Is that
quarantine
is Bubba
now?
him?
Y'all are safer.
Tell me about Bubba McGreevy.
Bubba's one of our callers. He's typically the first caller on our Thursday night shows or on our post game shows. He's quick trigger Bubba.
And is he angry?
No. Bubba's happy.
Oh,
good dude. Very pleasant person.
Is he from Mississippi?
Just calls to chat.
He is from Mississippi. I'm not sure precisely where in Mississippi. He's told us. I can't exactly remember. It's a smaller rural town in Mississippi, if I recall correctly.
I think it's right by Joplin.
That's what I was gonna say, Gabriel.
It's Joplin, Mississippi.
It's near Joplin.
Near Joplin.
Dude, I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth about Joplin. So, of all the girls, if you I like to index the women that I've known in my life. 2 of the 3 most pliable were from Joplin. So I don't know if you can draw any conclusions from that, but
okay. Can I get a definition for pliable in this sense?
I'm going to leave that open to you just figure that out, brother.
No, I don't want to figure it out.
I'm thinking flexible. Is that kind of the synonym for what you're talking about?
Flexible, yeah.
Do you mean bendable, or
because pliable more sounded like you were doing the bending. You were bending them, and we might be going down a road we shouldn't go.
I'm just leaving that open to your interpretation, brother. I feel like administrative assistant is at peace with anything that happened before I met her, and I was hanging out with chicks from Joplin and Siloam Springs before that. All right, here we go.
Okay.
McCready's got his hat on backwards, which means I guess we're about to rally, huh?
I don't know what that means. I just put it on. When I look at my bald head in the picture, and I just think I need to put something on to cover it for the people out there.
We got another super chat in from Jonathan I. Jonathan Ingram says, I need y'all
Jonathan.
back on the old schedule of Sunday nights. I mean, that's probably on me, really. It was Mother's Day yesterday, so that's what.
Yeah, Mother's Day was yesterday.
Well, the previous few weeks we moved it so we could watch the Michael Jordan story.
I mean,
Yeah, and there's 2 more weeks of that? It's been
one more.
Is it just one more? Is it just 10 episodes?
Yeah, the last 2 episodes are next week.
Oh, damn.
And then we go back to having nothing to look forward to all week.
Let's see.
It has been so good.
We got some clarification here that Bubba is from Walnut, Mississippi, apparently.
Walnut.
And Canoe Man, one of our guys at Auburn Sports, says Neal is now much more YouTube viewing friendly now. I don't know if that means you're more attractive, Neal, or you're just funner to look at. I don't know.
Well, if he hasn't been here in a while, if it was just back in the day, I didn't have this setup. We had the setup since football season, though.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Leif also mentions that pliable can mean morally flexible. I don't even know what that means. Yep. Morally flexible.
Oh, that is an interesting concept.
Dude, I will say this, though. I mean, of all the girls I met in my life, the hoiest chicks were from Muskogee, Oklahoma. I'm saying there's no question about it.
So they were more morally pliable.
They were, I don't even know pliable, because that means you'd have to bend a little bit. And they're just lack of morality.
They were devoid of morals.
Yeah, there was this girl, and I better not go into this. I was about to go down a really bad road on the show Saturday night. I was a little bit lit, and I was going to talk about something that happened in the past, and Courtney said it would be bad for your career to tell that story, so I didn't. She did. She actually unplugged my mic. I was like, don't tell it, please, seriously, for your own good.
Next time I'm around, Courtney, can she tell me the story so I can hear it?
I'll tell you the story. It's a good one, too. You'll like it. Just remember, it's about my bachelor party, okay?
Okay.
It involves a girl from Siloam Springs, Arkansas.
Okay. So, I got so many questions come to mind, and I got to ask one. So Courtney knew you were having a bachelor party.
Oh yeah, she was there.
Okay, so that might answer my question. There was no, hey, this is your last night, live it up kind of thing, or
no.
Okay.
No, it was somebody else. I mean, no. Well, the basis of the story is this. My friends from high school are insane like I am, okay? They're crazy people. My friends from college are like reasonable, rational people that are like reputable members of society, okay? And
right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gotten into an academic institution such as Transylvania.
You're right. They're obviously the future leaders of America.
Duh, yeah.
So these 2 groups of guys got together for my bachelor party, and it didn't go that well because you had 2 different groups of guys that wanted to do 2 very different things. And so they each did their own thing, and some crazy shit went down. I'll just leave it like that. I'll just say that a bed was moved off of its moorings. There was a girl named Bob, and we couldn't decide on a movie. Let's put it like that, okay?
I like how every time you say, I'll just leave it at that, a couple more details come right after that. But I'll just leave it there. We're going to know the entire story by 2:50.
All right. Sorry, guys. Courtney's going to kill me.
Do I have 1 minute to grab something to drink before we start?
Well, hell yeah.
Sure.
We can make that happen. The Canoe Man says, be sure and tune into the Brain Drain, Gabe. It's a great event to look forward to weekly. I don't know if you would. I feel like I don't know if you would enjoy it as much, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're one of my least insane friends. Like you're a very rational, grounded person.
Yeah. I mean, is it significantly different than just talking to you here for an hour every?
Yeah, but I'm just tore up. I mean, when I'm on the show, because we go 3 hours and I'm drinking the whole time, and I'm absolutely blasted by the time we finish. I mean,
okay, yeah, I've been around you on nights like that.
That's true. That's right.
Bad.
We were in Atlanta 2 or 3 years ago, and I was bombed.
Atlanta, Nashville, or Memphis, not Nashville.
McCready was like, "Hey guys, you want to drink a little bit?" And we're like, "Yeah." He goes, "I brought some wine." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, man!" Wine.
Something happened that night. I don't really know what it was, but that was the rivals dinner.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I was talking about the three of us went drinking in Atlanta at Media Days maybe 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And you were like, "We're going to drink tonight, guys." And Gabe and I are like, "Yeah, that's kind of the plan." You're like, "Woohoo." And you broke out some wine. And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here, man. We're not drinking wine. We're drinking male drinks. We're drinking bourbon, bro."
What if you want to drink bourbon and then have wine?
Well, then you're a girl, which is great. If you're a girl, then be a girl. Like, be proud of that.
You can drink bourbon in your wine.
Why?
I mean, it sounds awful, but
whatever.
I don't drink wine. It's terrible.
All right,
it is not terrible. All right.
Yeah, I dislike all wine.
Okay.
Do you really? Because I do too.
Yeah, I've never had a glass of wine I like.
I mean, it's for church. That's where I drink it, and that's the only place I drink.
It's not good. I mean, when I was in college, I had Mad Dog 2020 a couple times. It was awful, but it did the job.
Yeah, it did the job. Yeah. All right, so we have things to talk about, and we'll talk about them.
Jay, do you have the Cathead talking points, or do I need to pull those up as well in a minute?
I think you're the talking point, man.
Okay.
I'm the one that talks about Bob and the chicks from Silent Springs.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm almost apologetic for asking, so just whenever you're ready.
I better not say anything else, though, Gabe.
Right, obviously. Just leave it at that.
All right,
we're ready?
I don't understand what this means. Canoe Man says, if the show continues to grow, will Gabe need to broadcast from a grocery store?
Oh, he's referring to our recruiting guy, Zach Berry. Sometimes we'll go out to a grocery store, or the other day it was to a Taco Bell, and ask questions live for our show.
What?
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, and why?
Well, why not?
Okay. Fair enough.
Is that fair? Yeah. Is an answer? I mean,
fair enough.
You know, there are no rules anymore.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
All right. 3, 2. Welcome to another edition of Greatest Pod in the South. It is sponsored by Automation and Control Systems, LLC. I'm Neal McCready, JG Tate, Gabe DeArmond with me as well. Today, we're going to talk, as we always do, about all of the hard-hitting topics in the sports world. We're going to really break them down. Today, we're going to discuss what happened to the 1937 Yankees, why it went wrong, who should be blamed, and what we can learn from it moving forward. We will also talk about the 1982 Detroit Lions. We'll break that season down play by play. First, before we do that, I want to tell you about ACS. It's owned by Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. Established in 2013, ACS is a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. ACS has a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much more. ACS is a full-service AutoCAD services provider and a full-service fiber optic cabling solution provider. So if you're in need of custom HMI and SCADA solutions or large horsepower VFD specialist, ACS has you covered. They can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with ACS, go to acsllcms.com. Again, that's ACSllcms.com. or call 662-601-4381. I'm coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for my friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what product you're looking for. He's going to send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Even if you're not looking for a Ford, if you think you're in the market for something else, call Corey, get a quote. You'll at least get an idea so that you get a gauge moving forward so you don't get swindled by some car dealer out there who's trying to take advantage of you. And you just might get a quote that piques your interest. And if you do, even if you don't live anywhere near Amory, you can get that deal done with Corey and the people at Clark Ford. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove that to you. 662-257-1900. Jay, Gabriel, how are you all?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Well, it's just sure is great to share the screen and the podcast with you two luminaries. Gabriel, for those of you who are on the video, can see that Gabriel now has his backdrop, the Power Mizzou logo on it, and for some reason some associated tiger stripes. But it works. You know, it makes me think it's words that I'm not reading correctly, but it actually is just tiger stripes.
It's beautiful background.
And it reminds me of one I saw one time in Joplin.
I mean, yeah, that one got taken away by a tornado, though.
Every 5 years, it just swept up.
It was a little too pliable to stand up.
Oh, I've known a few girls like that.
I've heard
they were actually from that part of Missouri, the northeast part.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, though.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get any deeper. I don't want to provide any details. We're actually talking before the show, the pre-show, the ACS pre-show, about some things that went down in my life in Joplin, Missouri. And I had met some people that I felt like were pretty pliable back in the day, but I don't want to go any deeper into that story right now.
You kept up with any of those people like you have some of the others that you've referenced?
I don't think my wife would appreciate me keeping up with those girls, so I don't.
Very,
yeah.
That's very morally pliable of you.
No, it's not morally pliable. I'm not bending.
It's not pliable. It's morally rigid.
Thank you. It is.
Gotta tune into Brain Drain live from Mobile's Taco Bell to hear the rest of it.
That's where we send some random dude to talk to random people.
It's a great plan. It really works. It's a fantastic podcast.
I'm drinking the Old Soul today, by the way. Old Soul, produced by Cathead Distillery in Jackson, Mississippi. The Old Soul is a delicious 3-year bourbon. I taste some nuttiness in that bad boy, but I'll tell you what, it drinks easy. And I really enjoy just, me, I put it in a shot glass and down it. I think this would also be wonderful in a certain kind of cocktail, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, you could mix it in a lot of stuff.
In honor of Cathead putting out such a great product, and they have a whole wide variety of products, including the honeysuckle vodka, the Bristow gin, of course, the chicory liqueur, the hoodoo chicory liqueur. Bottoms up, buddy.
Is that a South Alabama Jaguar on your glass?
It is. It's where my daughter's going to school, Gabe. How do you feel about it?
I know. Yeah, I know. I thought it was pretty good of me to recognize that.
And ACS, of course, Clay McNutt is one of the all-time greats. And if you guys need some panel solutions, you know where to go. I mean, that guy knows what he's doing. And, yeah, we know that for sure. Baldwin, Mississippi. Should be in the Hall of Fame already if he's not. It's a travesty. What's going on with y'all?
Well, let's see. Yeah, it's been a pretty exciting day. I got up. I did a podcast. Did a workout in the driveway. Did a Peloton ride. Now I'm talking to you. It's exciting.
That's a big day.
I went to my gym. Second time I've gone.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
opened
people in there and stuff.
They opened last week. Yeah, I'd say there was probably, I don't know, about 25 people there. It's a pretty big space. So I went I'm going to go 1 or 2 days a week. Not going to go every day. By any means.
Because you're going to do something there you can't do somewhere else, meaning like maybe weights or whatever.
Yeah, it's just kind of a better workout, and it makes me feel like that's what I did 5 or 6 days a week before. So it's like a little bit like, hey, I can live life. Now they've got tables with like disinfectant and paper towels all over the place and all that. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I am concerned about going to the gym myself, but
yeah,
I don't
like I'm not using like the barbells or dumbbells. I've used some machines and done some other stuff, but yeah.
You doing cardio or what? What do you? I mean,
doing some cardio. I've done some machines, some ab type stuff. It's not necessarily anything I couldn't do at home, but a little more weight, and again, it just kind of feels like it's good to do something you used to do.
Do you think you could curl Janelle?
Oh no, I'm not all that strong.
Oh, okay. You're morally strong though. I know that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, not pliable at all.
Canoe Man from the chat says maybe Gabe could lift the spice rack. You could bench press the spice rack, Gabe.
That thing's pretty big.
It's a monster.
Because actually, there's a bed in it. It's not a spice rack. But,
wow.
Wow. That's loving some marjoram right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Jay, did your gym open yet?
They're not open yet. They're opening. They have a plan to open on the 15th, which I guess is Friday. But I am concerned because they're not going to open the basketball gyms, and I don't know if that by extension means they're not going to open the soccer fields either. I'm concerned, but my wife thinks it's because the gym's inside and you can't get a lot of the air doesn't move through there as much as it would on a soccer field. So hopefully, she's right.
So my wife's gym opened, but didn't open basketball courts. Yeah.
Yeah, it concerns me a little bit. I'm not going to the gym, though. I want to, but there's too many people in there, and they're just, I don't know. I don't really want to hang out with people right now. I'm more like Neal.
You've really taken a shift on this because in the past, you would have loved going to the gym just for the people.
I don't want to die, man. And plus, man, I'm going to give you credit. I wish I had a Peloton right now. All the times I've made fun of you for your goofy,
virtual high fives I get. Everybody thinks so much of me.
I do wish I had one now. Just for now. I would give it back in 2 months, but I wish I had one right now.
Wow. I never thought this type of a concession would occur on this podcast.
I have friends. My friends on the Peloton. Oh, it's meaningful relationships.
Come on, man.
It's not really about relationships.
Yeah,
it's a good place to get a workout in.
No.
So my gym opened this morning at 8 a.m. It's been closed for the better part of 2 months. And I don't know. I'm still having the tug of war with myself about whether I feel comfortable going. I'm somewhere between where you are, Jay, and where Gabe is. I mean, I think it's probably fine, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
It's not like Gabe's sleeping at the gym, Neal. I mean, he said he's going twice a week. I mean, come on.
Well, gyms are nasty anyway.
Oh, and I'm not going into the locker room or doing any of that. I go, I do my thing, I wash my hands, I get out.
Were there cute girls in there, Gabe?
Not particularly. I mean, again, there were only probably 20, 25 people there. Odds were way down.
All right, so there's 25 people in there. That means probably 12 girls, and then 12 girls. So then maybe 8 of them you don't want to work out with them anyway. So that leaves 4, and then you didn't see any of those 4.
I mean, look, when I go to the gym, we've talked about this. I don't want to talk to anybody or have anybody pay any attention to me anyway. So, this is perfect gym time for me. I go in, my headphones are already in. People aren't allowed within 6 feet of me. That's good. I wish people would not be within 6 feet of me normally when I go to the gym.
Noted, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Well, COVID is, I don't know. I feel like the opinions are changing on COVID a little bit. I mean, I don't think we're all sitting here saying it's something to be ignored. It's not. We've been very serious about it on this show, but with America starting to open up again, I have to admit, I'm starting to think I'm probably not going to get this, and if I do, I'm going to be fine. I don't know why I've changed so much. I guess the fact that we're kind of returning to normal. I went and got takeout today from my favorite Mexican restaurant, and they were open. People were in there eating. It was just, and nobody was wearing masks. I'm not getting into this thing as to whether you should be admonished or heroized for wearing a mask, but nobody in there had one on. It was just back to normal.
Well, it's hard to eat a mask when you eat.
Come on, man. That's not what I meant. Mask. I felt like the workers should be wearing it, though. I don't want them coughing in my food, yo.
I got you.
I don't understand, and I've had this debate with people on my message board and in my real life. I don't understand why. I mean, if you told me that, hey, these masks were permanent or whatever, I guess I'd be like, okay, I get it. But right now, when we're trying to kind of get to the other side of this thing to where we can get to normal, I don't see why people saying, hey, wear a mask when you go to the grocery store or whatnot is that big of a deal. I mean, I don't know, the almost try not to make fun of anybody about it because I don't ridicule them, but I don't understand the angst about it. It's almost a freedom fighting over a mask. You're just running into Kroger for 20 minutes. The mask is okay. It's not comfortable. It's a little hot. Yeah, sure, but it's okay. I mean, whatever. If that's what we have to do to get to closer to normal and everything that normal includes, I'm in. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't see the big deal either. I've got a friend who insists that he can't breathe and his heart races and it makes him super claustrophobic. I'm like, I don't really believe that. It's a piece of cloth that you put over your mouth and nose, but whatever.
Yeah, I had that happen to me, Gabe. So you call me a liar?
I mean, does it happen like every time?
Yeah, that particular kind of mask, kind of like the one Neal had on earlier. That's really tight on your face. But
you're capable of wearing a mask.
Yeah.
See,
the surgical masks don't bother me.
This one's okay. I've got one here. I'm not going to put it on, but it goes like this. And when you put it on, it's really tight.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. I can't do that one. I think it's called an N95.
Yeah, this is as close to an N95 as I think you can get without it being an N95. But it freaks you out a little at first, but you do kind of get used to it, especially if it's just for a little while. I don't know. I mean,
I freaked out.
I'm with you. I catch myself less scared of it by the day, pretty much. I watch. There's 2 or 3 Twitter people that I follow. We have a guy on our message board that Dr. Michael Cunningham, who posts really thorough kind of rundowns of each day. He does it kind of late in the day. I wake up to it the next morning, and it's pretty interesting. And it makes you, the more you read, makes you kind of feel like we're certainly on the downslope and we're headed in the right direction, and that we've got a chance to get into the summer and be okay. That it follows it's starting to follow some of the curves that previous viruses like this did, like SARS, the first SARS, the one in 93 or whatever. And don't hold me to these numbers because I don't have them, but like we're heading in that direction where by the middle of June, we kind of ought to be okay. You and I were talking about this in the pre-show. I think in the pre-show, I've talked to some people around the league, and I've seen some correspondence with some players around the league that, and when I say the league, I'm referring to the Southeastern Conference, in case anyone wonders. I think unless Greg Sankey and the SEC pushes what right now you can't have any on-campus activity through May the 31st. That's the deal today. Unless he kicks that can down the road a couple of weeks, I think you're going to see schools start bringing veteran players back to campus on June the 1st to work out. I think it's going to be incremental. I don't think it's going to be floodgates wide open. From everything I hear, the league is basically begging people not to do it that way. Don't do something.
Not to bring everybody all over.
Yeah, don't be stupid and bring 65 kids back on day one and do a group workout with 30 people on the first day before you have a real sense of who all has been exposed to what, and then run the risk of having some sort of a breakout that will be the lead story on New York Times that night, and where it's over. So they're asking them to be cool, and then I think, Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD, said this last week about quarantining in his case, obviously the Arkansas football team around July the 1st for a spring/fall camp. Most of these schools either didn't have spring football or didn't have much spring football before everything got shut down. And you'd be allowed to have those practices, have that camp, and quarantine, shut it down to visitors, shut it down to media and whatnot for a period of time. I'm guessing 4, 5, 6 weeks. And then, when schools start, they have to be regular students, and you can't quarantine them the whole season. And I know we all disagree on this. The idea of quarantining a football team for an entire season is so laughably stupid that it just doesn't. It's idiotic that we've even had. I catch myself wanting to strangle the people that say that's actually a possibility. It's simply not remotely an executable plan. It's a joke. But you could do it for that period, and then when school starts on campuses, they're back in school, and then you go from there. I mean, I think I think that's the kind of the best case scenario, but I think that's a scenario that's in play. I saw some correspondence between a school and a freshman player at one of the schools, not Ole Miss, not Auburn, and not Missouri. So people who think that I'm violating a source here, I'm not. At one of those schools where they were telling him that he was moving into his dorm, I think it was like June the 26th, which sort of would make sense in that incremental thing, getting ready for a camp where you're acclimating the program over the course of days and weeks to get ready to have an on-time start to a season.
I'm in favor of that, Cravey. I'm telling you. I haven't heard anything.
I think we all are. Yeah.
Auburn's still dragging its feet, I think. They haven't committed one way or another to in-person instruction. No, Alabama has and South Alabama has over in my neck of the woods. So,
but have they officially said it, or have they said, "Hey, we're planning to
planning"?
Right.
They're planning, but Auburn hasn't even done that.
That's not committing to anything.
We're planning to. All that does is some of that was on May the 1st, because May the 1st is a big, at a lot of schools, it's decision day, it's commitment day. You've got to put your deposit down, and so a lot of those schools were saying, "Hey, we're planning to be open on August, so go ahead and send your cash."
You go back to 22-year-old me, planned to do a lot of shit, Jay.
I know.
A lot of it didn't happen. You didn't plan to do anything you want.
Hey, when I gave Courtney a ring and said I planned to marry her, buddy, that was pretty serious commitment there. I don't know what y'all doing when you say you plan to do something, but I kept it serious.
My guess is June 1st, you're going to see some universities say we're going to be open in the fall. They're giving themselves as much time. And I get that. They're giving themselves as much time as possible.
South Carolina is the only one that I've seen that said we will do this. And it still doesn't really mean anything, because if something happens, they still could maybe not do it.
Yeah.
They were pretty emphatic, though. They put their foot down, to their credit.
They up here in Missouri, there were sports last weekend. Actually, they had a little league baseball tournament in St. Louis, but they like the catcher was 6 feet behind home plate and stuff. Like, how far are we going to have sports? They're changing the rules.
6 feet behind first base.
Yeah, they like moved the catcher 6 feet further back, so he wasn't within 6 feet of the batter.
Oh, how are you gonna catch a ball then?
I think there was only one umpire. So they're like, how far do we need to go? This is tournaments wanting to get their money from teams that signed up.
Sure.
But
yeah, of course.
But how far are we trying to go? And that's what I keep coming back to with college sports. Like, we all want it to happen. But if you're talking about quarantining a team for a whole semester and hiding behind technicalities where campus is open, even though students can't be here, like, that's going too far, man. Like, if you can have college sports, that's great. But we don't need to do all these mental gymnastics to get there.
Well, gymnastics is a sport, Gabe, you could probably get away with, actually. I mean,
fair. Not like team gymnastics, though, just one at a time.
Right, yeah. Team gymnastics.
Yeah, you got to clean the pommel horse really well.
Yeah.
The Ivy League is very good at the mental gymnastics. That's their thing. They tear it up. So does Tracy. It's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons that we're all watching this Korea baseball league right now, the KBO.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all watching.
Who's we all?
Well, I can tell you this. I can tell you this. Everyone in professional sports is watching it.
Well,
okay.
When I say that, I don't mean like they're glued to the who's winning the Latte Giants game, but they're watching to see can it work, because I had Trent Rosencrans, who covers the Cincinnati Reds for The Athletic, on.
Yeah, he's real good.
Yeah.
On my podcast today, he's really good, and he was talking about how Korea is kind of experiencing a little bit of a spike since they've gone back, kind of opened things back up a little, and there are rumors. Jay, you referenced it in the text today. There's rumors that the KBO might have to shut down for a couple of weeks, which would be obviously a disaster if you're Major League Baseball. And right now you're trying to go ahead and get things planned, because what baseball's trying to do is get players to camps in Arizona and Florida first, second week of June with a goal of starting a season at major league cities without fans, July the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, somewhere in there, the weekend of the 4th. That's their goal. Very little margin for error if you do that. And if you take a look at the college game, I mean, let's say my sources are right on this, and I think they are, and you're trying to bring, I don't know what you guys are laughing at. If you're talking about bringing guys in June, and then suddenly Major League Baseball has a spike and they have to shut down, it's going to be really hard from a public relations standpoint to say, yeah, no, we're going to keep everybody here. We're going to keep working.
Can you imagine, like, I think we're all getting tired of all this quarantine and stuff, right? But so we all want sports back. So the first sport that comes back, whatever it is, can you imagine if 2 weeks in, it's, oh my God, there's been a huge outbreak. We got to shut down. I mean, it is going to be awful.
Why would it be awful? They tried and they were safe and things got worse.
Because then everybody's going to go, oh my God, we're back in this. Like,
and they're going to say, we can't do it. It won't work.
They're going to think, oh, hey, we're coming out. We're on the right path. And if it doesn't, it's going to be this downturn where it's like, oh shit, this is even worse than I thought it was.
Well, I mean, the sports are starting this next weekend, brother, because NASCAR's racing in Darlington, and you just got to sack up and get over it, brother.
No,
how do you feel about that?
I want it to start. I mean, I might watch a little NASCAR.
Yeah, you're going to cheer for Joey Logano like you always do because you're a turd.
I used to cheer for Carl Edwards because he was from Columbia, but since he retired, I don't really watch it ever.
Yeah, you remind me of a Joey Logano guy.
Is that like a good thing, bad thing?
No, it's a bad thing. It means you're a beta.
Okay.
How do you feel about that, huh?
I feel like whatever.
Carl Edwards drank wine. He's a girl.
Yeah. That's why I'm a Brad Keselowski fan, because we drink beer, we drink man stuff.
I find the most advanced masculine people are the ones who spend so much time telling you how masculine they are. That's what I find.
Ooh, that's a shot across the bow.
Yeah, are you
talking
to me, man?
Man, oh man.
No, just maybe I'm talking to Brad Keselowski.
All right, now you're my fourth favorite person whose father's from Joplin. Now you've just dropped down the list, Gabriel. Good golly, man, why are you gonna do that?
I thought you were gonna say I was your fourth favorite person on this podcast.
All right, so let's play this out a little bit though, because I think people are interested in this topic. They're tired of it, but they're also interested in it. So Trent was saying he doesn't necessarily think that Ohio State's even going to be open this fall.
Damn.
Which,
how do places survive that though?
Well, that's a great question. But to kind of continue the point, the president of the NCAA, Mark Emmert, who's a stooge, said Friday night that he was emphatic.
Stooge.
He said if these campuses are closed to students, there will be no athletics.
No room for interpretation on that one. It was just
he
will not happen.
Is it possible that what we are watching right now is the precipice to the Power Five saying, you know what, we have no choice but to break away?
Because I think the one thing people need to understand, Mark Emmert cannot tell the SEC what to do. He cannot tell the Big Ten what to do. They don't run college football. If Mark Emmert says, hey,
they don't make their money off college football either. They make their money off that damn basketball tournament.
But my point is, if he says, hey, you're not having college football, and the Big Ten presidents say, no, we're having Big Ten football, then they can go do it. Mark Emmert can't say you're not in our organization anymore. But yeah, they could, if there's going to be something that causes them to break away, because look, it's certainly possible that some of these smaller schools aren't going to play, that some of, it's like the Mountain West places out there might not play. So the people who the power conferences, and it's kind of weird because, like, I don't know, can Rutgers and Maryland play? Can the Pac-12 play? I don't know. I'm not sure the whole Power Five can, but those who can might just say, we don't need this, man. We need a season, and we're going to go do our thing. And then it's just going to kind of be what we do going forward. Like, sorry, Memphis, Cincinnati, Tulsa, like, you guys have fun doing your thing, but we play a different game anyway.
Yeah. I stand behind this, man, as a firm SEC guy. I don't care if Rutgers and Maryland don't play. Don't care. I don't even going to go to Maryland. I'm not even going to the state of Rutgers. I won't even go. I don't care. I will go to Missouri, though.
Do you put in stock at all into the very, very real possibility that what we're talking about happens is the reason that this one-time transfer thing appears to be sort of on the ropes right now, as opposed to just readily passing? Because let's say that what Gabe just said is right, that, Arizona and Arizona State say we can play. Yeah, we want to play. Utah says we can play. But Washington says
Oregon can't.
Yeah, and then the kids at Oregon are like, well, look, I'm not here for the accounting program. I'm here for football, and I'm out. I'm going to go to Auburn, or I'm going to go to Texas or whatever, and I'm going to go finish my career at those places. I got a one-time transfer. They got room for me. I'm going. Where it's kind of I keep hearing college athletics people who I trust, who I know, say that June and July have everything, all the complete recipe to be a total not a disaster, but just a circus where it's crazy, where it's just unprecedented stuff that happens.
That'd be fun. I like chaos.
Whoever the John Rothstein of college football media is, his head's going to explode if people just start transferring in July, man.
No doubt. He would lose it.
I mean, yeah, be a big problem.
But if you're at a school, like let's say you're at one of the schools you just mentioned, you're at Memphis or you're at Tulsa or Cincinnati or a school like that, and you're one of their players, and they announce University of Cincinnati says, hey, we can't be open this fall, and that league, whatever league they're in, they go, well, screw it, we're just not going to play this year.
Right.
If you're a player at Cincinnati that could play somewhere else,
you want to play.
And that one-time transfer rule passes, and Iowa calls you or Indiana calls you, you're gone.
Well,
yeah.
Then Cincinnati needs to open their school and stop being a bunch of betas. I mean, period. I know you're just saying that for instance, but it may not be Cincinnati, but somebody's going to do that, right? I mean, whether it's
but like
Cornell or something, and you're like, who cares?
But using Ohio State as the example,
right.
If Ohio State says, hey, look, we're going to play football, damn it. We have to play football. If we don't play football, what are we doing? And yet the governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, says you can't open your campus.
And see, like Jay, I know you made kind of a joke about it, but like I'm interested to know, because that's one of the things that really kind of pisses me off is this attitude of, well, we're an SEC, and if you won't go play football, you're a huge pussy. Like, there's an actual conversation to be had here, right?
Barely.
Like, I mean, so I had this conversation, actually, I think me and Neal were talking about it a few days ago. So your daughter's going to South Alabama. So
Correct.
What if they tell you, I don't know how many people go to a South Alabama football game. Let's say it's 20,000.
Let's say it's 120,000 maybe.
Okay, whatever it is. But let's say, hey, if we have football and there's people in the stands, the math tells us that 5% of the students who go to school here are going to get this thing. And of those, like 1% are going to die. So in the end, you're talking about like 1 out of every 500 kids or something.
That's a pretty good percentage though, right? That's
or
not a big
1
number.
out of every 5,000, whatever it is. I'm not doing the math right now. But if they tell you that, are you telling your daughter, yeah, it's cool, go to South Alabama football games. I'm going to take a chance that you're not the 1 in 500 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let her decide.
Right.
She's of COVID age. I don't know the answer, Gabriel. Why are you putting me on the spot? It's not like I'm on a show talking about this or
Well,
something.
because I think it's a real discussion to be had beyond just play football, don't be a beta. Like
that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be the dummy, and y'all are supposed to be the smart people.
I just still question whether and man, people fight me on this. I don't know how you can do a college football season without fans, unless you're willing to at the same time say, so here's the thing. This has been a sham all along. We're going to pay the kids. We've been paying them under the table for years. We're going to pay them over the table now. And we're going to, here's what their salary is going to be. We're going to give them, unless you're willing to do that, the aesthetics of it are so horrible.
You can do it with like reduced fans, but like, let's say you get 25% stadium capacity. Ole Miss holds what, 60 something?
Yeah, it's like 61,
okay.
62.
So Ole Miss, you get to have 16,000 fans.
Okay.
So I'm sure they sold more than 16,000 season tickets last year. So when the Athletic,
pretty close.
well, like I know Missouri sold 29,000 last year. So if they get told, hey, you get to have 17,000 here, like they got to call 12,000 people and say, hey, man, I know you've given us money for 15 years and you've been a diehard fan and we really appreciate it, but you just like didn't give us enough money. So we really hope you keep giving it to us. We'll see you next year.
Well, just
like, those are tough calls to make, man.
Just say COVID, man. What do you want me to do? Some dude in Wuhan ate a bat. I mean, well, you don't call me and bitch about it. I ate chicken.
I'm sure those people are going to be very understanding about, like, I've given my thousands of dollars. I don't get my seed.
So Alan Green's call would just be, look, this is not my fault. I ate chicken. Okay. That's as simple as that.
Put that
all
on my
That's
bumper
the deal.
sticker.
Yeah.
Hey,
I ate chicken.
From the chat, Canoe Man, one of our guys, says, if I was blindfolded and the hosts had their voices changed, everyone could pick out the Mizzou host instantly. How about that, Gabe? Somebody's giving you hell for being a Missouri guy. How about that?
Maybe that was a compliment.
No, maybe not. Maybe it's how you think about it.
Maybe he was saying, that Yankee, he sounds smart, man.
Yankee. You're from north of Joplin. I don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of Yankee-ish to me.
I am north of Joplin, yes.
I mean, hell, he's almost in Des Moines. I mean, he's pretty Yankee.
I mean, I'm right after this. I'm going to take a walk around the neighborhood. I'm going to end up in Minneapolis.
Dude, they're going to play football, right? I mean, are we even arguing that? Like, come on.
All right, let's do the percentage.
We're just playing a game.
Play.
Y'all are playing like a thought game here. Like, hey, let's just theorize and maybe they don't play. They're going to play.
All right, let's play the game. Let's play a little. We've done this a few weeks. I've lost the numbers. It doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know where they went.
What percentage do you put? We'll start with Gabe. What percentage do you put that the season starts on time?
On time.
On time with fans, or just that? Hey, there's a game September 5th.
Play along. On time, and then we'll get into the other stuff. Just on time.
On time. Week 0 is like August 29th.
Labor Day weekend.
55%.
Okay, Jay.
On time, like 25%.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. I'm 25%. I think.
Yeah.
I think they
you guys
start.
I want to change my answer. You guys are probably a lot closer to right.
I think it's closer to they start week 3 or week 4. Here's my concern about college football starting on time, and this is just, college football can't go first in team sports. And I get NASCAR is going to go, and that takes a little pressure off everybody. And then the PGA Tour is going to play, perhaps LPGA, whatnot. And like right now they're talking about English Premier League June 1st playing games. No fans and all that. I think it has to happen on American soil. It has to be a team sport. And so if the NBA can't resume and Major League Baseball can't resume, I think college football is going to wait for the NFL to start, which is going to push them back at least, at least a week.
Yeah.
It's a week, yeah.
The NFL's going to play. And the NFL can play.
No doubt.
They can do it without fans. They're going to do it. There's way too much money at stake. There's only 32 franchises. The way that the deal is done, they can do it. They're going to do it, in my opinion. There's zero doubt. And then once they start, I think college football can go, well, see, they're doing it. We can do it. But I don't think they can go. I don't think college football can go first and play a game, especially with fans, without someone having done it first.
So you were mentioning earlier, like on time, I don't think it's going to start on time. But if you're asking me, JG, will they play college football this year? 95%.
This
Okay.
fall.
Like this
This
fall.
fall.
Chances this fall.
I think it'll be an abbreviated season that starts later. But the chances of them playing, damn near 100%, my opinion. I'm talking about our programs. I don't know about all the other stuff like
All right,
Boise.
well, let's say SEC. Do you think SEC stadiums have fans?
Some, yes. They're not going to be like they should be. They're not going to be full. They can't. But yeah, there'll be people there.
I can't remember his name. It's John. He was on the Jeff Calkins show. He's a doctor in Memphis. He's a big part of the University of Tennessee system that's making the decision. His exact quote on the Jeff Calkins show was, "There will be no fans in Neyland Stadium." I'm told by people that work at that station that the pushback against the doctor was instantaneous. That the league, the University of Tennessee, very upset with those comments being made, yet nobody was willing to come out on record and say, no, that's not true. There will be fans in the stands. I don't know how you justify that at the college level. I just don't. I'm not saying I'm right or I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. They're probably going to play the games with no fans.
No.
I wonder what that looks like.
I think there'll be people in the stadiums, but it's not going to be all of them.
No way. Can't do it.
See, I think you can start the season without fans, but I think you've got to have the promise of we're going to open this to fans in a couple of weeks. We're going to figure it out, and whether there's a lot there. I'm glad I'm not having to make that decision and sit in on those meetings and ultimately someone's got to make the call. I mean, right now they're having like all these brainstorming sessions where they just talk, but at some point someone's got to stand up and say, here's the decision, and it's going to be ridiculed one way or the other.
See, that's part of the thing, and why all these, because right now everybody can push this back, and we, like, nobody has to make a decision. Eventually there's going to be a time where somebody has to make a decision, and we saw it with all the states and everything. Nobody wants to be the bad guy that's a leader that says, hey man, we're not doing this. Like, you guys all have to stay home for a month. Nobody wanted to be that guy. And so then we got to a point where it was like we were kind of past the point where at some point somebody's going to either get to be the good guy, the bad guy, whatever. Conference commissioner like there is nobody in. I've heard this a thousand times. There's no Roger Goodell in college sports, right?
No.
Nobody's in charge in college sports. That's
Nope.
why they have so many problems, because there isn't a Roger Goodell or an Adam Silver or a whoever the hell the NHL commissioner is.
Gary
I don't even
Bettman?
know.
Still Gary Bettman,
Gary
isn't
Bettman.
it?
Is it really Gary Bettman? God, he's
Yeah,
been doing
and
that
then-
for like 96 years.
Well, the NHL
Then-
kicks ass, Gabe.
Major
Yeah,
League Baseball's Rob Manfred.
I was going to say Gary
Baseball's-
Bettman, but I seriously thought maybe Gary Bettman had died like 25 years ago. I had no idea. But, college sports doesn't have anybody like that. So we're relying on Greg Sankey and 14 athletic directors and 14 presidents and everybody it's a messed up system.
Why don't we just make Charles Barkley like the czar of college basketball or college, Bo Jackson could be the czar of college football, and then that person makes the choice, and you just go with it. How you feel about that?
I don't think Alabama would vote for that.
I don't care what they want to vote for or they don't vote for. They've gotten plenty of votes in the past, and they've had enough. They've exhausted their votes. How do you feel about that? Come at me, Bammers. All right, anyway, you mentioned the pommel horse earlier, Gabe. What's a pommel horse? Is that somewhere where you pummel horses?
No, it's like a bar that's covered with vinyl, has the two handles. You swing around and
That is
scissor
hot.
your legs around it.
I know.
stuff.
I'm
Damn.
oddly
When I
aroused
say
right now.
you, like you don't, I don't, but people who do gymnastics do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is sexy.
It's called
So
a
you
pommel
straddle
horse.
the horse and swing your legs. That's hot.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you have one, Gabe?
I do not. Mine is in the shop right now.
Have you ever seen Janelle on one?
No.
Yeah. Has Janelle
No.
ever ridden the horse? I mean, the pommel horse.
I know y'all ride horses, though. I know that.
Yeah, up here in Missouri.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
guys
we
are on
do.
the frontier.
Yeah. I got to go do my route and take the neighbors their mail. I got to get my horse out here in a couple hours. That started up in St. Joseph, which is actually just north of Joplin, which makes it just north of Columbia.
South Des Moines.
Yeah.
How far are you from Des Moines?
I think it'd be about 4-hour drive, maybe
Is that it?
something like that. Yeah, you go up I-29.
How the hell did you guys end up in the SEC? Just make you should be in
It's
the Big
pretty
Ten.
dumb, isn't it?
It's insane.
Well, they should be in the Big 12, but nobody wants to play with Texas because Texas is all dickheads, so they all go to
so-
different places.
Oh, it's true.
Does Missouri hate everybody in their old conference? Is that kind of the deal? Like, you think they're a bunch of screwballs?
No.
Other than Kansas, they love Kansas.
You love
Well, that's-
Kansas.
Right. Yeah, they get along with Kansas. And no, mostly they hate Kansas, Texas, a little bit of Oklahoma. But, like, nobody hates, like, Kansas State, Texas Tech. Who hates those people? They're fine.
Yeah, they're kind of immaterial, right?
Yeah, they're there. I mean, they didn't make anybody mad.
I mean, Chris
You know,
Beard's
like-
pretty good.
Like, they hated Nebraska as far as, like, an actual football team, but, like, Tom Osborne fought for a lot of the same things everybody else in that league wanted.
I think you personally, Gabriel, I think you don't like Kansas. Like, I think you personally don't like Kansas.
That's
You
fair. That's one of the smarter things you've said on this show.
Well, I mean, it's weird though. Like, I don't hate Alabama. I don't. I got friends who went to Alabama, but I feel like
just
you
don't
hate Kansas.
I just don't like Kansas. But hate is a strong word. I do not like Kansas basketball.
Speaking of Kansas basketball,
I
did
don't
you all see where the accusation is being made that Duke paid Zion Williamson?
Yeah.
I find
There's
that
no
to be-
way.
there is no way.
Krzyzewski would never cheat.
Well, the weird thing about that is it's like his former agent making the accusation, right?
Yeah, it shows you that there were some deals that were
They
cut
probably
and then
want
broken.
money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
But
there?
yeah,
Is it possible
I'm
that
gonna set up-
Krzyzewski cheated?
I'm gonna go. No, that
No,
Jay Billis and Dick Vitale told me no way. I'm gonna go set up Twitter alerts for those gentlemen pretty soon.
Just to watch them back up and defend their hero.
Yeah.
What would you guess Zion got?
Oh golly,
I mean,
what would be a real?
like he's easily $1 million player. He'd be every bit.
Yeah.
He'd be every bit worth $1 million.
Yeah, I would think $1 million's
Oh,
fair.
Yeah, easily. I mean, he made $1 million for Duke in the first week.
Now here's what I'm curious about, and like I honestly don't know the answer to this. If you get a guy like that, let's say they paid Zion $1 million. Like clearly, what's his contract now? Shoe deal and everything. How much money he make this year? Probably 15 million.
I was going somewhere between 25 and 40 million probably.
Okay, so do you think the deal is all right?
Rivals money.
Here's $1 million. Yeah, here's $1 million. Is that just, hey, you get that money, or is that like, here's an advance, man. Go to Duke. We give you this $1 million. When you get in the NBA and you make your first 40, like, just pay it back.
I'm fine with that.
I'm just curious. What's the setup?
Totally fine with that. I don't know.
I don't have a problem with it.
Well, that's why the whole name and likeness thing is. It's ridiculous that we're even still having this conversation. Of course, they should be able to cash in on their name and likeness, and we ought to have this stupid video game. People want to play the video game. It's a way to pay all of the players a little bit. It's not a ton. It's not life-changing money, but it's a way to give them something. Jersey sales, all of that stuff. There's ways to do stuff that's above board. And then if a car dealership wants to sponsor, here's the thing. Like let's take Birmingham for example. You're a car dealer in Birmingham. You're running a big Honda dealership or something. Even if you are Joe Bammer, you don't want to stop. You don't want to have a reputation for no one that supports Auburn or to a lesser extent UAB or whatever won't come buy a Honda from you because you're pure Alabama. So you're going to sponsor a player at Alabama. You're also going to sponsor a player at Auburn. And the truth is you're going to sponsor some kid at UAB because you want to sell all the cars. I mean, it's going to benefit everybody. It's so stupid. The whole
Republicans buy sneakers too, Neal.
Well, I mean, yes. You know what? He was right. He was right.
I wish we could talk more about Jordan, but I'm 3 episodes behind right now. Y'all don't spoil anything though. But
I won't spoil it other than to say this.
He wins most of the games he plays in, Jay. I'm sorry if you don't know the result.
Don't tell me, man.
I'll tell you the one. This won't give anything away. It won't be a specific. But the one great thing that sticks out week after week after week in this documentary is his mindset was just different. He just a different dude. I mean, he would find something to piss him off, and that was it.
I had never heard the LeBradford Smith story, and that was amazing.
I haven't heard it either. I think you're spoiling it for me. He played
that's why I just called it the LeBradford Smith story. You'll see it in.
Yeah, there's something there all the time, and I mean, when he was little, it was he thought his dad liked his brother more than him. I mean, it's just he always found something, and then once it clicked,
he should have been a college football coach, man. He could have told those kids, everybody hates you, nobody thinks you can win, man. They're all against you. It's us against the world.
Hey, now I'm 3 episodes behind, so there's probably some stuff I've missed, and I'm going to pick it up here as soon as I can. I mean, I got it taped and stuff, but I'm going to tell you this, man. First of all, I was not a big Bulls fan. Jordan's a tremendous player, but I was not a big Jordan guy. I didn't wear Jordan jerseys or anything like that. It wasn't going to. I feel like the show so far, the first 5 episodes I've seen, to me, have cemented my opinion that Michael Jordan's a huge dick, and he needs to get over himself.
That's kind of the point. Like, to be what he was on the basketball court, yeah, a lot of people thought he was a dick. That's kind of the point of the whole thing.
He's an actual dick, though.
And here's the thing, Jay, you need to watch episode 7 to its conclusion.
7 and 8.
At the end of episode 7, at the end of episode 8, I'll be curious if you're still saying the exact same thing.
All right. But man, the stuff he did to Jerry Krause, not calling him a fatty. I mean, hey, we all joke about stuff like that. He was just teasing, but just consistently trying to belittle the guy professionally and say that everything that's happened here is because of me and Scotty and, Jed Buechler or who the hell else, Luke Longley or, whatever. And totally ignoring
it. But it was
because of Michael.
It was 100% because of Michael Jordan.
They made a lot of great decisions around Jordan, dude.
Well, they did, but Jordan made everybody work. And that's what
when he wasn't on that team, they didn't win.
Yeah, I mean,
they were pretty good though, but they didn't win.
And and we haven't even gotten to the point where they've talked about where they break them up at the end. Why did you not let them? The 3-time champs, you got to let them defend the crown until someone takes the crown from them.
I haven't gotten to the point where they play Utah again yet, so they're going to win that, you're saying?
No spoilers, Gabe. Come on, dude.
No spoilers. I expect a competitive series.
Yes.
Okay.
Byron Russell's been a great defender the whole time.
like-
So I mean,
feel like Howard Isley will be a big part of it, or Harold Isley, or whatever.
The Jazz do have Malone and Stockton, and they're a good team. And Byron Russell's a great defender. This is, and the Bulls seem to be a little tired. This is a series that it could go a distance, and who knows, man? I mean, the flu could kick in too. I mean, we talk viruses. Jordan could get sick.
I met the mailman like 2 years ago at Auburn. It was very exciting.
Oh.
He's a big human being. I don't mean fat. I just mean he's a large human being. I would not have wanted to get in a fight with him.
Patrick Ewing's maybe the biggest human being I've ever seen in person. I bumped into him at an AAU tournament a couple years ago.
I would think he's huge.
Gigantic.
Yeah.
No joke, man. This is the truth. So I grew up in Ruston, and stop me if I've told the story before, but one of the most memorable games that I've ever watched in person, whether it was as a fan or as just or a media member, it was like 83, 84. It was the Southland Conference, I want to say semifinal game between Louisiana Tech and McNeese. It was Joe Dumars versus Karl Malone.
Interesting.
And it was awesome. Tech won like by 1 or 2 points. It was a great game. Karl Malone played at Louisiana Tech at a time that the Lady Texters, the women's team, was, national news for whatever godforsaken reason.
Because Leon Barmore's awesome.
Because they were really good.
They were, but like they would have double headers there, the Tech men and the women, and the men with Karl Malone on the roster, a team that went to the Sweet 16 and lost on the last second shot in overtime to Wayman Tisdale in Oklahoma, the year that Villanova won the national title. 85.
85.
Yeah. That team would play the warm-up game of a doubleheader, and the women would play the primetime game. Crazy.
And did the women draw more?
Yeah, they would draw more. It was unbelievable. I never understood it. I'm like, Karl Malone's right. You knew when you watched Karl Malone at Louisiana Tech, there was zero doubt that he was going to be an NBA star. No doubt.
Did people know he was that good? Like, how did he end up at Louisiana Tech? Was he just a low-key guy that wanted to stay home, or did he have did nobody know he was good in high school?
Rivals screwed up his ranking. I mean.
Thanks, Mike.
Freaking bossy.
He came from Summerfield, Louisiana, a little bitty town in North Louisiana that nobody saw, and this was before the internet and all that stuff, and you slipped through the cracks. And by the time people discovered him, he would pretty much locked into Louisiana Tech, and he was a country boy and wanted to be close to his family and all of that stuff, and so he went to Tech, and they surrounded him with some pretty good players, and that was a team that, had they beaten Oklahoma that night, would have had a legitimate shot to make a long NCAA tournament run. He was great.
Also, I know this isn't a college basketball podcast or anything, but see, this is about when we all grew up. I mean, can you imagine now a game that features two guys like Karl Malone and Wayman Tisdale as college seniors? That's amazing.
Yeah, Tisdale was
why
a senior.
College basketball was awesome. Wayman Tisdale was the best college basketball player I had seen in my lifetime, probably till I was at least 15 years old.
I didn't expect.
Well, like Danny Manning at Kansas. How long was Danny Manning at Kansas?
Danny Manning was there 4 years.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
that just doesn't happen now.
No,
I'll tell you what. There was a game on yesterday. It was a 1984 game, North Carolina versus Maryland. It was Michael Jordan's sophomore year. He was 20 against Lynn Bias, I guess, as a freshman.
Right.
Man. And Carson came up. I made Carson come watch it, and he was like, "Where's the shot clock?" I'm like, "There's not one." Where's the 3-point line?
Where's the 3-point line?
Yeah, there's not one. He goes, "God, that was so boring." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that was the point."
I mean, like that national title game Jordan played in was him, Ewing, Sam Perkins, Worthy, Sleepy Floor. I mean, there were dudes all over the floor, and now none of those guys would be there.
Yesterday it was
that's
Brad.
Why college basketball sucks.
Whoa.
It was Brad Daugherty and Sam Perkins and Michael Jordan and Lynn Bias, Lynn Bias, if he doesn't die, has probably a storied NBA career.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to hear Wayman Tisdale's name today. I knew that dude. That's a true story. Yeah, when I was living in Tulsa, I went to high school in Tulsa, and he lived in the neighborhood right next to mine, and we just kind of got to talking to him. He was a musician, of all things.
I've heard he's a really good dude.
He played bass. He had a little recording studio in his house that he had set up. Like we played video games and stuff. Like he would talk about playing this back
Really?
when Genesis was on. It had just gotten started, the Sega Genesis, and we would play the basketball game on there. It's like, was it Bulls Lakers or Celtics Lakers or whatever? That dude was the coolest cat, man. And never once ever flossed anything about, hey, I'm an NBA player or anything. It was just, hey, I'm Wayman, man.
You guys went hung out in Siloam Springs?
Nah, he was after a different type of woman than I was. Also, Steve Largent lived in two neighborhoods over, and his kids were my age, and he had a basketball court in their backyard. It was like half length, but it had real basketball rims, and they had the Seattle Seahawks logos on them. Had the Seattle Seahawks logo at midcourt, which is weird because it's a basketball court and the Seahawks play football, but whatever. I suspended my disbelief. Anyway, it was so badass. He had lights on it and everything, man. It was the coolest. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
You hanging out and playing video games with Wayman Tisdale officially is the coolest story yet.
Yeah,
on Gpits.
Jay, I like you more than I did when we started this podcast.
I do too.
Legitimately really cool. I mean, like, just a really nice dude who just saw kids hanging out in the neighborhood and was like, hey, you want to hang? I mean, come check this out. And it sounds creepy when I say it, but he wasn't at all. Like, he was just being cool.
If I was Jay, I would have led with that like 3 years ago when we first really met. Was like, hey, man, I used to play video games with Wayman Tisdale, and I would have been like, sweet, can we be friends?
Yeah,
me too.
As it is, it took me 3 years to warm up and think, I don't know. I guess
we can genuinely cool, not pretentious, just happy and hanging out dude, man. He's missed for sure. Anyway.
That has been for me, and I've said this before, I'll be quick with it. It's been for me the fun part of the Jordan documentary has been watching Carson get so wrapped up in it. Like, he came down last night at the end. He goes up to his room and watches it by himself, and he came down at 10 o'clock when it was over, and he was like, that was really cool. And I was like, that was really cool, wasn't it? Cool. Yeah, and he's just like, that guy. Because the 84 game that we watched, the end of it, Jordan steals a ball and puts just the exclamation point on a Carolina win with one of his signature dunks, and it was like, oh, dude. And the announcers after the game were like, this Michael Jordan, I'm not saying he's one of the best players in the country, but he's certainly one of the most athletic players in the country, right, John? And it's like, no, shut up, dude's really, really good. Yeah. You need to chill. He has an excellent floor game. I'm like, he's just
he does.
He does. Man, he's something else. He's something else. Let's see. I can tell you that this podcast is also brought to you by Cathead Distillery. Our little trip down memory lane there, brought to you by the people at Cathead. It's Mississippi's original distillery located in Jackson, founded in 2010. They've been, do the math, they've been celebrating 10 years of business, as Jay mentioned. Cathead Vodka, Cathead Honeysuckle Vodka, Cathead Pecan Vodka, the Old Soul Bourbon, Bristow Gin, Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur. If your favorite restaurant, bar, package store doesn't have it, just ask them to order it for you. They'll get it in. You'll love it. The portion of the proceeds from all the sales in each market goes back to helping local musicians and arts foundations. Let's see what else I should tell you about Cathead. The term Cathead, in case you're wondering, is a compliment in the fine state of Mississippi, first coined back in the day by blues musicians as a nod to the artist that they respect. It's catheaddistillery.com, catheadvodka.com, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget, they're making the Comfort and Mercy hand sanitizer. So if you see that out in your stores, that is made by the people at Cathead right there in the distillery. You can also purchase it online. Ships directly to you, catheaddistillery.com. That's the Comfort and Mercy hand sanitizer.
We are doing Gpits episode number 98. We have a history of discussing the top films and music in each of these years, corresponding with the number show we were doing. So we skipped 97 last week because I'm an ignoramus and I just forgot. I was so enamored by announcing the Cathead partnership and drinking the Old Soul that I forgot. But it's 98 now. Not a great year for music, I think, in 98. The number one song in 98 was Too Close by Next, which is a really good song. But to me, it should have been released in like 94. Because it sounds.
I don't remember that song.
I don't know if I even know that song.
It says, we're dancing real close. You're making it hard for me. You know that song?
Nope.
All right, it's the number one song of the whole year. So if you don't get it, you're an idiot.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Also, The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica was the number 2 song. You're Still the One by Shania Twain, who's extremely hot, by the way, and still hot.
I remember
Agree.
She was on fire back then.
Man. Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden, which is garbage. And then Leanne Rimes, who I always thought was supremely overrated, both as being hot and as singer, had a song called How Do I Live? So, All My Life by Casey and JoJo. That's a great song. But Destiny's Child released their first record in 1998. It was not a huge hit. Their next record, which came out a year later, was the one that had Say My Name and all that stuff on it. But I had an unhealthy...
Now, Neal, you weren't familiar with TLC theoretically a couple weeks ago, but you're familiar with Destiny's Child.
Well, that's a different deal right there, Gabriel. Because Destiny's Child had that might be the hottest collection of women ever to sing together in the history of ever.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ever?
Beyonce Knowles, Kimberly, Michelle. Oh my God.
I don't even think I could have named any of them except
I had
Beyonce.
unhealthy feelings for Destiny's Child. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think my wife knows about it too. Not a big deal. The highest grossing films in 1998 were Armageddon, which is, and then Saving Private Ryan was number 2.
Phenomenal.
It's best war movie maybe. Apocalypse Now is really good.
It's in the class picture.
Yeah, for sure. Godzilla. There's Something About Mary and A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life was good.
And somehow, Saving Private Ryan did not win Best Picture of the Academy Awards. That went to Shakespeare in Love.
No, that's...
Featuring Gwyneth Paltrow.
As an authority who has never seen Shakespeare in Love, I can clearly say that was the wrong choice.
Why would you?
I don't know.
Unless you had a Gwyneth Paltrow fetish. There were some other films that did not make a ton of money in 98, but I think we've all watched them. The Big Lebowski, one of my all-time favorites. The Truman Show, which I think was ahead of its time. And a film that I watched somewhat recently in the last year, and I thought it held up pretty well. A film called Ronin, which is not a great film, but it has great car chase scenes in it. A film featuring Robert De Niro. And then Half Baked, which is not a great film, but it was the first time Chappelle and Neil Brennan wrote together. 2 guys that changed my life forever with the work they did on the Chappelle Show. So there you go. Some decent stuff.
Would you like to guess who was on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue in 1998?
Elle McPherson?
Was not Elle McPherson. Good. 2 good guesses, both wrong. I looked it up because I was curious.
Who was it?
Heidi Klum in 1998.
Okay. Heidi Klum's very, very sexy.
That's one of the reasons she's on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Really hot. One thing
they generally go hand in hand.
Yeah, as a rule, they choose to go with the attractive ones on the cover.
I mentioned earlier we did not do the 97 show yesterday. We're not going to spend all the time going back on that, but I wanted to point out there was a film that came out in 97, which a lot of you probably haven't seen, you younger folks. It's called The Full Monty, and it's a British film about some dudes that lose their job at a factory and they make up for the lost revenue by stripping. It's actually a funny movie. It's kind of family friendly. You don't see anything you don't want to see. But I wanted to point this thing out because the budget for that film was $3.5 million, and it made almost $300 million all told. A whole bunch of somebody's got generational wealth off that film, and I'm just blown away.
No doubt. Wow.
I just Googled 1997 movies. It was a good year for movies.
Yeah, 97 was a better year. I mean, it had my favorite film of all time, which was Boogie Nights and Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, Austin Powers, Life is Beautiful. Did you ever see Life is Beautiful?
Oh, that sounds silly.
Oh, no, it's a phenomenal. It's concentration camps. It's a phenomenal movie.
All right, cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Would you like to, without Googling it, who do you think was on the cover of the 1997 Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue?
Matt Damon.
Elle McPherson.
No. Tyra Banks.
Ooh.
Okay.
She belonged in Destiny's Child because she would be hot enough to hang with them.
Well, no doubt about that.
Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce. Y'all didn't think they were super hot? Like you were? You felt feelings?
Well,
I mean, yeah, of course.
Here's how much
Beyonce.
I like you guys. If we were going to go 3 for 3, like the 3 girls from Destiny's Child, the ones that went the distance, and the 3 of us, I'd be willing to take whatever the last pick was on that one because I love you guys. Okay? That's my gift to you.
You are a team player, Jay.
So if Neal goes first and he takes Beyonce, I don't even care, Gabe. You just do what you want to do. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm envisioning that draft going like this. Neal McCready now on the clock. Now, fuck this, we're out, man. This draft has been canceled by COVID-19.
Beyonce would say, "Listen, I'm sorry. Whatever deal got cut, this is just no."
This is
putting my foot down right here.
This is the most ridiculous premise for a television show I have ever seen. We're out.
She would say, "This is no. That's it. He's my only choice." Where are the Cobras? Someone just end this.
I think she would want me, honestly. I mean, you guys are great. But...
yeah, I'm sure.
I mean,
she'd say, "Give me the guy with the crazy hair. Give me him. Let's see what happens."
I know that guy can party.
Speaking of hotties, this podcast is also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. In addition to being an incredibly handsome man, he is also a very good travel agent. I know that travel is starting to pick back up again. We were talking about this last week. There's whether it's Whistling Straits in Kohler, Wisconsin, whether you are looking to go to the beaches in South Carolina, in Florida on 30A, some things are starting to open up, are scheduled to open up. Get in touch with John. You can learn a lot more. You can get a great deal in travel right now. People are obviously desperate for you to get on their airplanes and things of that nature, and you can get deals today that, frankly, you've never really been able to get before. All you have to do is give him a call, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options. 901-494-3387. You don't have to live anywhere near Memphis to take advantage of his services. It's J. Edwards at regencytravel.net. Tell him that you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. You'll save $50 off your first booked trip. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. Cookie cutter financial planners put you in a box. Pinnacle Trust builds a box just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
Stacey Wall, Penn Trust, absolute beast, Hall of Famer in my mind, and glad to have him discussed on the show. He and Martin and the whole crew there at Penn Trust do an awesome job, and you guys know how I feel about John Edwards. I trust him with my own personal travel, so you should trust him as well. I learned a lot today. Pommel horse, I'm going to learn more about that. I want to see if that's something we can buy here at the house. I think I could come in handy.
Here's a little story that's is kind of breaking. This is kind of back to what we talked about COVID at the beginning. Sean Doolittle, the closer for the Washington Nationals, has a tweet out. It's a series of tweets, but the first one says, "Bear with me, but it feels like we've zoomed past the most important aspect of any MLB restart, and that's health protection for players, family, staff, stadium workers, and the workforce it would require to resume a season." And then he says, "Here are some things I'll be looking for in the proposal." This right here, Gabe and I have talked about this. It is the one thing that none of us are writing about and talking about, in large part because, we technically can't reach out to the players right now because that's violating the, agreements we have with sports information. Can you reach out to players without going through sports information, Jay?
No.
Okay, so if we did it, all the schools would push back. Yet this is the one thing I'm most curious about. And I think if I reached out to some parents, I'd probably get some reaction. I think I'd get shut down pretty quickly. But it's, okay, we keep talking about TV money. We keep talking about that kind of thing. I'm curious how many of the parents of players out there and the players themselves have health concerns that they want addressed, safety concerns that they want addressed, and how they are represented. Who represents them? There is no college football players union. Who represents their desires to discuss this? How does that work? I know I'm probably getting ripped in a chat session. I'm not saying that they should or whatever. I'm just saying, that's there.
Well,
it's something that's going to be discussed. And the whole, you just show up and play is
Neal, you do seem to be skipping the fact that they should play football for my entertainment.
Absolutely.
And this is the SEC, and if you don't want to play football, we don't want you on one of these teams. You're not tough enough.
If you're
and
not
like,
going to play,
obviously, I think that's all crap. But like that's legitimately part of like some of the argument you would hear. Well, I don't want that kid on my team anyway. If he's too scared to play, I don't want him on my team.
He's a beta.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we'll just let Jay write the stories when that happens.
Well, I mean, he has a tweet right here that says this is Sean Doolittle again. He says, because this is a novel virus, there's so much we don't know, including the long-term effects. On top of respiratory issues, there's been evidence of kidney, intestinal, and liver damage, as well as neurological malfunctions, blood clots, and strokes. Here's the reality. He's not the only person who in sports who has this concern. And,
right. And again, Sean Doolittle can say, I'm not coming. And the Washington Nationals can say, cool, we're not giving you a paycheck. Yeah. QB1 at Auburn, whoever that's going to be this year, he can't really say that. His scholarship's probably not going to be there. He will show up and play. Now, look, I think he probably will want to, but he will be pressured into doing so.
It's what I'm just kind of interested in. I mean, making it full circle. If I'm right, and I think I am, that kids are going to be allowed to start coming back in early June. We're going to see. It's going to be one of the most interesting things about this season, if we're fortunate enough to have one, and I think we will. We are going to see who the meatheads are.
Meatheads?
We're going to see who this. Yeah. Because there are going to be coaches out there that are like, man, I'm not doing all this. I'm not doing all the things they're telling us to do. We're going to say we're doing them, but we're not. If the footballs are out on the field, we're getting out there. We're getting after it. We're going to do all these things, and we'll find out which coaches say, you know what, we're going to be cautious with this. We're going to do it incrementally. We're going to be smart. We are not going to be the program that has the massive breakout.
I don't actually think there's going to be a bunch of meatheads, and you know why? Because now everybody has a cell phone. That coach would be in danger of him being an idiot and having it put out on social media in minutes. And
you're probably right, because there will be no media to do it. There will be in my opinion, there's not going to be any
we're not going to be
live media access. We're going to have Zoom calls, and we're going to have stuff sent to us.
I may never leave my house again, honestly.
I don't think like I don't believe there's going to be. There might be some press conference settings with just a few reporters and like they're doing in the Korean baseball, the KBO, where you get the manager and you get the quote star of the game. There might be some things like that, but that's going to be about it. So, all right. On that note, we'll wrap it up.
All right.
That does it. Episode number 98 of The Greatest Pod in the South, presented by Automation and Control Systems LLC, is in the books. The next one's 99, so we'll party like it's 1999, and then I guess we'll have some sort of a 100th episode celebration.
You'll have a celebration. Well, hopefully we can have Kelly Rowland.
Well, I'll do it live from the gym.
You can do it live from the gym. I'm not going. I'm scared. I don't want to die of the Kung Flu, bro. All right.
That does it for
I think it's time to go now.
For Gabe DeArmond, for Jay Kung Flu Tate, I'm Neal McCready. That does it for this edition of Greatest Spot in the South. Until next time, you guys take care. Talk to you later.
All right, guys, that's the show.
All right, man. See y'all.
See y'all. Man, they get off very quickly, don't they? They end the show quickly. Dang, Gabe's window got real big on me too there at the end. Oh well. Hey man, good stuff in the chat today. We had some funny stuff. Ole Miss USMC's trying to give me hell on here, but I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna fall for it, bro. No pineapples unless it's for eating, bro. The pommel horse, and I love making fun of Gabe on the Joplin thing. I know exactly where Columbia is. I'm actually really big on knowing where stuff is on the map, but I like I don't know. I feel like I play the dummy on this show, which is cool. You all could argue I play the dummy all the time. I had some great stuff on the chat today, though. Canoe Man was funny. Georgia Rebel. Brian Matthews, and then Neal McCready. I have a suspicion that was corny, but we never will be able to prove it, I'm sure. Let's see. Leif says Chuck Klosterman has a great book called "What If We're Wrong." It's all about how history judges us differently. Okay. All right. I also want to give a shout out to our super chatters who may not be here anymore. Webb was for sure, and Jonathan I for sure. Thank you guys very much for that. I'll make sure that Gabriel gets that because it was supposed to go to Gabriel, and since this is actually shown on our channel here at auburnsports.com, but I want to make sure they get what they get. So appreciate that. All right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up then. Appreciate you guys hanging today. We don't usually do this on Monday. We do it on Sundays, but because of Mother's Day, and I think Neal for sure was doing something yesterday, and I think Gabe might have been as well. I was for sure, but yeah, we just decided to put it off a day. Glad you guys were able to hang with us, and yeah, so hang out there. It's a beautiful day here in central Alabama. I guess central lower Alabama, where I live in my community. But wherever you are, just let's make good decisions. Let's not drink too much. I know I'm not a very good judge of that, but just suspend your disbelief on that one. You guys behave yourself. Thank you for watching us and everything we Neal and Chance the Yapper do at rebelgrove.com, and of course whatever Gabe's doing at Power Mizzou. I honestly don't check out their site very much, but I love Gabe, so yeah, we'll leave it there. The less we know about it, the better. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. See you next time. Until then, let's be peaceful and be cool. Peace.